Welcome to Any Given Thursday. We are like the buzzed mythology hour, you know? We're not quite drunk and we're not quite history. My name's Kevin.
I really wasn't sure how you were going to do that, and then, alright.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm Rob.
Yeah, right. You know, I think here's the thing is like it's a tie-in too.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Wow, we usually don't.
I know, but I thought of this on the way, and I'm like, well, if we're gonna talk about alcohol, then I want to start off by setting people's standards lower than what they expect from a fully produced show. You know, we're not drunk history. We're buzz mythology. Actually, we're Any Given Thursday, but yeah. So what I don't know. I wanted to kind of touch on a bit today is the importance of alcohol to humans.
Are we... I'm assuming that you're talking big picture and not us. I don't want to... This isn't meant to be dark.
No, I mean, I didn't mean for this to be an intervention.
People burst into the closets. Oh, no.
But, yeah, no, I didn't mean for this to be an intervention. But, I mean, if it becomes that, whatever.
Sure.
But, no, I mean, like, yeah, big picture, you know, humans and their interaction with alcohol over the years and, you know, how it has shaped history.
Oh, okay. Alright, so my first thought was that I don't know a ton about the history of alcohol. However, my first thought was that I know loosely that different alcohols have come from different regions.
Yep.
So, like, I think rum originated in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Sake is obviously from Japan.
Yep.
I feel like monks in, like, semi-medieval-ish times did a lot of weird shit. Potentially, like, mead and things. They used to keep bees and make honey wine.
Yeah, and beer as well. I think both beer and wine were very much a monastic thing.
Got it.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
I have no idea where whiskeys come from.
So, actually, I believe they're also European, and then like European and then American, because whiskey is just aged, like grain alcohol.
Okay.
So like that's the only difference between really like Everclear and whiskey is that whiskey is aged in a barrel.
Huh. So it's taking flavor and nutrients and things and dulling itself a little bit from jet fuel.
Yes.
In wood barrels, usually like oak barrels.
Yeah. That's like the only difference between like clear alcohols and whiskeys is that whiskeys are aged in barrels.
Why the hell is there like 8 different kinds of freaking whiskey?
Because different barrels based on different locations around the world. Right? So like Irish whiskey barrels are different than like American, specifically like Kentucky bourbon whiskey barrels, right? Like and how long they sit and like all that stuff differs, and that's also explains like the huge difference in flavors. Because like you could have a bourbon and an Irish whiskey, they're both whiskey, but like the flavors are vastly different from each other.
Sure. And Scotch.
Yeah.
They age that one in tires.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the Scots were thinking when they decided to do that, but you know,
they invented rubber and were immediately like, what if I could drink this?
Yeah. Huh.
Is Scotch from Scotland?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
Yep.
It does make sense, but okay. You know.
Also, crazy that there's such a wide difference that from like merely a small strip of water in between Ireland and Scotland.
Oh, don't try and bring those closer together.
There
would be some people real upset trying to say that they're real similar.
You know, historically they are. They're very similar, but you know, hey.
Oh yeah, them in the English too, right?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But like, the Celts and the Picts, Pict, the Pictish people, were some of the older tribes that existed in, Scotland, like modern day Scotland. It used to be like Pictland, but it had a different name. That's just sort of like the like anglicized version of what they called themselves, because they were known as the Picts.
The Picts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right.
But them and the Celts have a lot of overlapping history.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
but very different whiskeys.
Very different whiskeys. Okay, all right. We're gonna. I'm before we get to what you were trying to do. I just want to go over some alcohols.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Is rye is also just whiskey?
Yes, it's rye whiskey is
Right.
I believe an American invention.
Yeah. It's similar to bourbon.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's my understanding as well.
We kind of talked about mead. I don't know if that's where it came from, but.
So, as far as I know, like if we brought in mead to wine.
Okay, well that's a little. I feel like it's a slightly. I know that.
I know
mead is honeyed wine, but that doesn't necessarily mean. I feel like the bridge in how similar they are is a more modern concept. I feel like they were probably discovered in incredibly different ways.
Yeah, because I think if I'm remembering correctly, mead is like one of the oldest forms of alcohol that we've discovered, and then wine follows, like grape, quote unquote, wine follows shortly behind that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you in that sort of scale? What do you think is the newest?
Ooh, probably one of the Americans.
Well, that's just another kind of whiskey, though. So, like,
yeah,
I don't know if there's. We brought alcohol here.
Yeah, we mostly brought ale. Tequila maybe.
Ooh, okay, all right,
right,
maybe.
Because that's hard to say because I don't know if indigenous people native to the Caribbean were making sugar-based, like sugarcane-based alcohol. You know what I mean?
Well, that's rum.
Well, it is, but it's also tequila.
I thought tequila is from shit.
Agave? No.
Yeah, no, not agave. Something like that, though.
Maybe it is agave.
It could be agave, actually.
It's still a either Middle, South American, or Caribbean plant, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, again, I don't know if the indigenous people in any of those areas that I named that are south of the U.S. In the Western Hemisphere, Western from a European perspective, actually were making this alcohol like years before we decided to make
Come
something
here and start showing off alcohol. Yeah, I don't know, because there's a lot of I don't know how true any of it is, but there's been a lot of posturing, blaming stereotypes that we introduced alcohol to the Native American peoples through the form of rye and whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's there's truth to it, and I think, listen, looking at it from a yes, a purely historical perspective, turning indigenous people into alcoholics greatly benefited the
colonization.
The colonizers. So but that was also again a mix of ale, whiskey, and wine, I would say, as well.
You think? Okay, all right.
I would believe so, yeah. Because I think you ready for this crazy anachronism that's got a little truth to it.
Sure.
The first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that was
come on, Kev. We're from New England. Of course, we know about the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But the actual one, not like the fairy tale one.
Oh.
Yeah. But wine was served.
Oh.
I'm like pretty sure. Like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty sure that wine was served. But yeah. Anyways, I do think like mead and wine are like, again, some of the oldest.
Some of the oldest. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, if you take, so this is going to get a little religious, right?
Fine.
But you know, my
wine didn't exist until it was the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, wine didn't exist until it was Jesus' blood. No, obviously, like
so male.
you know, but like the stories of Jesus turning water into wine, right? Like he lived between like 0 and 40 CE, basically, right? So you know, we're already talking almost 2,000, over 2,000 years old just for wine, right? And I think before that, I think mead existed before that because I'm pretty sure ancient Egyptians were drinking mead.
You know what? That sounds right.
So
I know. You know, I was actually trying to think. I was trying to think of like different regions in the world and alcohol that has potentially come from there. And I was trying to think of an alcohol from Africa, and I was having a difficult time thinking of it. But if it's mead, then that you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can think of another.
I'm sure.
Another popularized in Western culture, at least.
Yeah.
Not to say that there isn't, but not that I'm aware of.
Right.
It'd probably get you fucked up.
I wouldn't know either. That I was just thinking of that too. Actually, I don't know if there's any truth to this at all.
Sure.
But I do believe that that humans, I should say,
sure,
humans build up a tolerance to the alcohol that they drink most often. So if you're introduced, or there's something that something that you drink less frequently, it will affect you more because you drink it less often.
I don't know though, because the way just tolerances work, it's all still alcohol. Like I don't.
Yeah. True.
I don't know.
True. It is all still alcohol.
Because I don't necessarily disagree. I also think, I mean, that it depends on the type. Like, I know, for instance, I like me a good wine buzz.
Okay.
I'd be lying if I said otherwise, although it can be awful the next day.
That's fair.
But I think part of it's because of the sugar content. That it helps kind of get that, like, more warm, bubbly feeling.
Yeah, energetic.
I don't know about energetic. That's tequila.
No, yeah, that's no. Yeah. Well, there's more sugar in tequila.
Okay. Probably, yeah.
You know, or you just have to drink vodka Red Bulls, right?
We didn't mention vodka.
We didn't.
Which I think is actually just from Russia.
Just Europe generally.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, oddly enough, Ireland, you know, back there again, right?
Yeah.
But you know, they grow a lot of potatoes.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you know, I'm in my mind it's Russia, but I'm like, I'm surprised Ireland didn't have more to do with it.
Yeah, I think their vodka just gets aged to become Irish whiskey, right?
That doesn't seem right.
It's kind of right. Vodka is just Everclear watered down.
No.
Whiskey is just aged Everclear watered down. Gin is just vodka aged on juniper.
I was gonna mention gin too because I don't know a lot about gin.
It's English.
That makes sense.
That's all I got. No, you
Who else would want to drink Christmas trees?
It's fair. I'm sure it existed in other parts of the world before that, but to me it screams UK. You know, I mean it's called London Dry. Gin for a reason, right? You know.
What's that? The Greek alcohol?
Ooh.
It begins with an S, I think.
It
tastes like black licorice. It'll get you fucked.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, brain.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of it either. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I can't think of the name of it.
No.
Shit. Maybe it'll come back to us.
Soju? No.
I think that's something else.
Okay. Could be.
I think that's something else. But you know what I just thought of?
Sure.
Something that actually the Americas certainly like invented. Applejack.
What the heck is Applejack?
So Applejack is when you basically take a bunch of apples. And then you use that as your mash, and you take the sugar from that, and then you freeze it, right? And then it does this weird thing where what drips out is alcohol.
What?
Yeah. Very much like an early American thing.
That doesn't really surprise me that much, just because you get some apples that have been around for too long, they start smelling boozy.
Yeah. I mean, it's got sugar. It's basically just, and it's not cider. It's different than cider, right? Because, cider is
sure.
a popular thing. It is a hard alcohol made from apples and, the sugar from apples. And a lot of times, like I said, they freeze it, and then as, it warms up, it lets off
Secretes.
alcohol in some way. Yeah, I don't remember the exact...
Have you had it before?
Yes. A manufactured version of it, right?
Oh, I don't think I've seen a manufactured version. That's why I wasn't sure if this was some weird foothills thing you've had.
I mean, both, right? Parts of you I don't know if you remember that my Uncle Mark makes cider. Or he did. He hasn't in a while.
I know that you and your family have made a variety of alcohols for fun in various times. I don't know if I specifically knew Uncle Mark made cider.
Okay. He brought it to a game dinner once or twice. I just don't remember if you were there for it.
It doesn't sound familiar, although I'm usually very focused on the meat.
That's fair. I don't blame you. But that cider is close to Applejack because it's higher than a normal cider, and it's not made the way a normal cider is made.
Yeah, because the normal cider is kind of made similar to wine.
Yeah. But that, the cider he makes, that he calls cider, is a lot closer to Applejack because it's a lot higher in percentage.
Huh.
But,
so that's what's in that damn cereal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The cinnamon stick is just kind of burning away in the cereal, and it makes these weird little green and orange O's for some reason.
Okay. I thought of something else. It's gone now.
That's sad.
I know. Well, oh no, here it is.
Malort? No.
What?
Malort? We'll get there after.
Oh,
okay.
Great. Okay. Well, you mentioned mead, and if mead was around with ancient Egyptian times, then that's one of the oldest alcohols. But I almost posed the question to you: what was around longer, fermentation or alcohol? And I think the answer is: as soon as humans could figure out that they could ferment food, they figured out that they could get drunk.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I feel like even, we're going way back there, right? We're going way back to, what we would barely recognize as humans nowadays, but are still humans, right? We're, the Cro-Magnon people, right? If they're eating, grapes or any other fruit that has, gone slightly off and then experienced a positive, dizziness because of it, they're technically getting drunk. You know what I mean?
A positive dizziness.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the hell they would describe it. You know what I mean? It's I ate those grapes and I suddenly became a lot more confident.
Now I feel invincible, though.
Yeah, they didn't have the word invincible. But I don't know. I think we as humans discovered that incredibly early, right? Fermenting something and then realizing that it gets us, it makes us feel a certain way.
You're right. They wouldn't have invincible. I feel like rock.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel solid? No, I feel like you could throw me from cliff.
Yeah. Potentially. But like, no, I'm sure that was super early, and I'm like,
It had to have been.
from I'm sure it was like ceremonial for a long time, because like there are, even in like written history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we worshipped wine gods and party, you know what I mean?
Sure,
Dionysus.
Yeah, it's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah. But like
birthed from Zeus's thigh or whatever.
So,
anyway,
something, yeah. But like he's the god of festivities, right?
And wine.
So like, but that's the popular written one. Mm-hmm. So how many unwritten have existed over the years, right?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that in Eastern Asian culture, the only one that I can think of that is like strongly from that region is sake, and I mean there's like Japanese whiskey, but I'm surprised I don't know.
I don't know what early
unless they just didn't.
Early Chinese people drank. I don't know what early Vietnamese people drank.
Right? Like,
this
was also just sake. I mean,
I don't know what early Indian people drank.
Yeah, right. Maybe they didn't.
Nah, they definitely did. I mean, they're humans, right? Like, they definitely did.
Well, I think tobacco is from the Americas. I don't know where marijuana is from.
Funnily enough, ready for this?
Sure. Poppies are also from, I think, the Middle East. Sorry.
Yes, but I think further east. I think like the far.
You're right. I'm sorry. I use Middle East generally.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think Afghanistan. I think that's the proper.
Sounds right.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
The last week or so, when I've been scrolling through YouTube, I have been seeing a thumbnail, and the name of the video is something along the lines of like, where did marijuana originate from?
Okay.
And there's a map in the thumbnail with a leaf, and it's over Central Asia.
Okay.
I haven't watched the video, so I don't know where it actually originates from.
Right, because the thumbnails are always meant to throw you off, so that way you watch it and
So who actually knows? But it could be like, I don't know, modern day Kyrgyzstan for all we know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kinds of herbal highs and things have been all over the world. I mean, the Aborigines in Australia had, I think there's stories of medicine men who did, meditations and things there.
Yeah, absolutely. I Native Americans as well.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Peace pipe.
Yeah, which was also tobacco, but like
I think that was that's why I thought tobacco was.
I think it was a different strain or something. Like I don't know. I could be wrong there.
They might have mixed multiple kinds of plants. There's another one that grows pretty commonly in this area that I know you can smoke that is more of a calming effect. Who would know more about that is Brianda.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know. But, and I mean, besides just, abusing it, I know that a lot of substances like that also had religious connotation.
Yeah.
I mean, even like frankincense and myrrh is mild hallucinogenic.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Like as you mentioned, like there were shamans that would go on vision quests using
that's what we should
different herbs.
Go on a vision quest.
We could. We'd have to go to like Central America and maybe like Honduras. You want to go to Honduras?
I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe.
No, El Salvador maybe. Ecuador.
Kevin, it's too warm for us there.
It's a little too far south. That's not Central anymore. Ecuador is just in South America, but regardless, we could hit Costa Rica. I'm sure somewhere wherever Aaron Rodgers went on his, guided meditation.
Oh, yeah.
His ayahuasca.
That's turned
You
out
want
so
to do
well for him.
ayahuasca? Yeah, I mean, he broke his ankle, but, listen, we're not trying to be professional athletes. I think it'll work
We
better.
could all of his bones immediately.
Yeah. Take lots of calcium afterwards and drink lots of milk so that way you strengthen your bones back up so you don't go rolling ankles on the third play,
I think we've danced around your topic here. I know I kind of distracted you from it, but
No.
how alcohol has influenced history.
Yes, and humans' interaction with alcohol.
Yeah.
And
I was getting back there with the religious aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't think we ever got too far off.
For us, no.
No, we were doing pretty good. But I mean, I wanted to look at it from a, everyone talks about the opium wars, right? Everyone talks about the spice wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trade goods that were so important to humans that we would kill each other over them.
I'm probably wrong. You probably have examples. My first thought is that simply because we've already gone over how most regions came up with some form of alcohol, because fermenting shit isn't necessarily that hard to do. Mm-hmm. It's usually done accidentally. Mm-hmm. The amount of accidental foods we had, I learned a whole bit about gazpacho when we had the soup day party. And I learned that gazpacho was most likely made by vegetables sloshing around in somebody's pouch traveling across Spain. And they were like, I could eat this. And a lot of foods and probably alcohols were created by what would probably be health code violations these days.
Oh, for sure.
So in my mind, because of that, it like the spice wars and opium wars, it's like that, those were somewhat regional, right? They weren't necessarily plants that would grow everywhere.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that seems like it would have been tougher for alcohol, where if you can get some kind of sugary plant fruit substance to rot long enough, you're gonna be able to get drunk off of it.
That's interesting. I think that's a solid point, actually.
Fucking god.
Because it's smart. It is the lack of something. Yeah, I think I can make that work. I think I can make this statement work full stop. And you will try and prevent me, and you will find good examples, but I might be able to work around them.
Okay.
It is the lack of something that causes people to go to war to get it.
I would love to fight you on that, but I actually agree.
Got
is that usually it's scarcity and the want to have that scarce resource that causes wars.
Yeah.
Good thing there's plenty of oil around.
Hey, you know how gas prices rose up 20 cents over the last 2 days?
Yeah, suddenly we were fine with war in the Middle East.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. I don't want to get that political in this one. Because I will, but I don't know if now's the time or place, because we're talking about alcohol.
We're talking about alcohol. But no, I thought you were going to come at me with an example of a war over alcohol. Alcohol has probably led to many a war, I will give you that.
Oh, for sure. I can't think of any specific examples throughout history of wars that were fought specifically for alcohol. I cannot think of any.
Maybe against alcohol, maybe because of alcohol.
Oh, likely the former, definitely the latter. Right? Like wars 100% have been fought because people were slightly drunk when they decided, hey, I want to own this land. Hey, I'm going to kill you for it.
That prince slept with our princess. He was drunk, that bastard.
Yeah. Basically, right? But I cannot think of any wars that were fought specifically for alcohol. but yeah, tons of them because of it, right? Like because we, this gets back to another kind of thing we talked about recently. Drinking alcohol is just kind of another form of escapism, because while you are in, until it gets too far. Because anything that goes too far, anything that you go too far into to escape is going to be detrimental to you. Alcohol is a little worse than some others, but I still stand by that statement generally. Where was I going?
I have a counterpoint, so you do you, and then I'll bring it up.
So when we drink, we are doing it for a number of reasons, right? Stress relief, to make us less aware of our surroundings, to have us similar connected to that, think less about our responsibilities, and I think all of that to me ties into that escapism.
I don't disagree. However, I think that might be a more modern use of alcohol. I think that with the more easily accessible ways that we've come into, we just listed a whole bunch of different ways to make alcohol.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of different products to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But I think until globalization started ramping up, that alcohol was at least a little bit more scarce. At least a little. Let me finish.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
And I think that prior to alcohol being so readily available as it is now, that when it started out, it was actually almost communal and used to form bonds. Like, you would have a drink with your enemy to share peace. You would, it was almost something to tone down situations. Obviously, until there was too much introduced. But I feel like it was more so about community, coming together and finding peace before it became as, indulgent as it is now.
Interesting. I think...
Yeah, have a toast with your enemies sort of thing.
I think you have a point. I think that's only true amongst the lower classes of society.
Okay.
I think, throughout history, it's still recent history, right? Proportionally.
Right, proportionally, because I was thinking, the past 150, 200 years.
I can go further back than that. Kings and queens, monarchs generally.
Yeah.
There are many tales of those who, drank heavily just because, they had access to it and it was a showing of their wealth. So, it was still indulging and, overindulging, really. And... for those specific members of society.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel like you can be thrown off cliff.
Yeah. Exactly. But, there are so many stories of, drunken kings and, that sort of thing throughout, medieval history.
Caligula and, okay. All right, fine.
So, or, you want to go back a little farther, drunken Roman emperors that, we can go back a little ways.
Okay. But all right. So maybe, fine, Kevin. You found a way to make it classist.
Yeah, we can go back farther before, there was as much of an established hierarchy based on wealth.
Well, hold on now. Okay, hold on.
And I do think
I would argue
that
that's partially escapism, but it's also partially a show of wealth. Which isn't necessarily the same thing.
No, I don't think they're the same thing. I would agree.
And so, maybe that's just in the difference in how it was used over time.
Yeah, I think. All right, this is gonna sound bad. This is gonna sound bad. I'm gonna preempt it with this, right? You know, we as humans are. I don't want to say it. You know, much weaker in a lot of ways than our ancestors. You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to come across as like, you know, in some ways, not in all, but like, you know, our pain tolerance, our threshold for like, you know, like work, like our desires are different and like our needs are different than like, you know, our great-grandparents that like worked in the mines for 16 hours and didn't complain about it. Well, I'm sure they complained, but didn't have a choice.
So I think that is partially because
we have more alcohol. No.
Well, maybe, but I think it's we are more emotionally complex now. We are more informationally complex now. We're starting to diverge from needing, you know, because life was ultimately simpler then. There was less information being thrown on us at once. There was obviously no internet.
Sure.
You know,
in general, we were much less educated.
We were much less educated, and so your task from day to day and what you did from day to day wasn't as hands-on, and so however, you know, has society gotten technically weaker? Physically, probably. But I think that that's partially because of of a higher mental strain that's needed. And so escapism has been greater because escapism is mental stress reduction.
Okay. All right. I like that. Yes. The increase in escapism comes with the shift in society to generally more a more intellectual citizenry and the work that we do requiring more intellect. And that, well, to a certain extent.
To a certain... Listen.
This is still... Listen. But a couple episodes ago, we talked about how an AI could do either of our jobs. So, well, you know.
At the very least, a need to process more information.
I agree with that.
We don't necessarily need to say society's smarter. We can say that it's having more information thrown at.
I mean, it is. It objectively is.
Well, okay.
Like, more people can read now than they could 100 years ago.
They use it a lot more dumbly, but yeah. Like that sentence I just used.
No, yeah, people are dumb. We're not going to ignore the fact that people are dumb, and they're, you know, still going to be misinformed, right? Like, there's so much information out there. There's also so much misinformation out there. And, like, you know, media literacy is needed way more than ever. But, you know, that's a whole nother skills issue at this point. And I think...
And it's a new skills issue.
Yes.
It's a new skills issue because, you know, the variety of media that we can intake now is being monitored less, and its need to be objective is lowered because of it.
Yes. The media that we're bringing in is much more biased, so we need to be able to pick out those biases.
Which is why the generations and us at times are not as well at picking out what media to pay attention to. How did we get here?
I don't know. Alcohol. Because alcohol.
Because alcohol.
Because alcohol.
I feel like this is the second time we've done that. This exact same.
Because alcohol. Alcohol has led us to this. But, you know,
there had to have been a war fought over scarcity of alcohol. Maybe. There's no way that there wasn't.
Maybe.
I was sure that you had one teed up.
No, I wish. Actually, strangely enough, the the reason I want to talk about this was the opposite.
Oh.
So, you ready for this?
Sure.
Imagine a world where alcohol never existed.
Based on the conversation we've had, potentially not that drastic of a change? That doesn't feel right.
Right.
That doesn't feel right, though.
I know.
Okay.
But everyone has access to it. So, no, it's not limited. But if it doesn't exist, no one has access to it.
Well, okay, hold on. Just because it's not scarce, and just because it's not something that wars have been fought over, doesn't necessarily mean it hasn't had a cultural impact, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole, like, period in our country's history where we weren't allowed to drink it.
Yeah, which brought out a huge rise in crime, which was very shortly followed by a Great Depression for some reason.
Yeah. Weird, huh? Weird how, and then all of a sudden, we could drink alcohol again.
Yeah.
It's weird. Very weird.
Kind of strange.
Yeah. What else is odd is, a lot of things happened in that time frame there, like, approximately 100 years ago or so.
Yeah, just about 100 years ago or so.
Just about. There are a lot of amendments to the Constitution happened in a very short order. Women get the right to vote, constitutional amendment. Alcohol is banned, constitutional amendment. A little while later, alcohol is no longer banned, constitutional amendment. And then shortly, quote unquote, shortly after that, presidents can only have 2 terms, constitutional amendment. So in the span of like 20 years, we modified the Constitution like 40 times. 2 of them were about alcohol.
Kevin, the 4 you brought up, I don't know if you framed that super well.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
2 of them were about alcohol.
Yeah.
That was the point.
Okay,
half of the 4 in a 20-year span had to do with alcohol.
Man, yeah, I don't. That's so hard.
But if alcohol never existed, then a lot less idiotic decisions.
I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. We wouldn't have to worry about drunk driving.
You got me there. Humans would find a way to do something stupid, though.
Oh, yeah. We're very good at it. We've gotten better. The ways in which we can be stupid have gotten more complex because we've gotten smarter.
Because I'm trying to think of, for some reason in the past 20 years, there's been, way more Viking media.
Okay. All right. Curious where this is going?
Well, it was going to the fact that I was thinking specifically of Vinland Saga, which we've talked about a bit.
Yep.
And that they drink, mead and ale a whole bunch in that.
Yep.
And while it's, typically, okay, I have immediately am going to go back on the escapism point I made and say that warriors and people who fought in battles would then celebrate with drinks, but that's probably also to escape the atrocities they just did.
Yeah. I want to get over the fact that I just murdered 30 people. Let me drink the pain away.
Yeah, got me there.
To mask the torture that I've been going through. Escapism. Still true hundreds of years ago.
But my point was,
years ago.
I was trying to think of, in that time where it was mentioned a lot, and that's not just the only form of media that mentions it, a lot of, I think a lot of English culture and its formation had a lot to do with alcohol.
Yeah.
But if there was no alcohol, would it still have happened the same way? That's really tough.
A lot of, oddly enough, American culture also kind of based on alcohol. So.
Yeah. especially modern culture, but yeah, probably always.
Founding as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Puritans were crazy. So,
Founding fathers would have never gotten up the courage if it wasn't for a little bit of Sam Adams.
Yep. Yep. If it wasn't for shitty beer. Back then it was shitty beer. Sam Adams is good now. But, back then, if you were just going up to Sam's, and he was giving you some of his homebrew, well, I'm out on that, man. I don't know about that one. But, like, they had to. Alcohol was certainly a factor in the writing of, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and
especially if you watch We the People.
Yeah. Yeah. But we didn't have alcohol.
We wouldn't have podcasts.
We wouldn't have podcasts. We wouldn't be friends. No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I think we would also, oddly enough, I think we would be angrier.
I don't know. Would we just be more high as a society?
That could be.
I mean,
that could be.
Would humans have just turned to something else? Either that, or maybe humans just would have gotten sober and we'd be more advanced as a society. Kind of hard to say.
Questionable. We would either get more advanced or we would kill each other sooner. Like, I don't think there's any.
Those are the two options.
Yeah, and it's like, Hobbes and Locke, you know what I mean, right? Like, if you believe that all humans are inherently evil, if we didn't have alcohol, we'd all be dead. If you believe that humans are not inherently evil and that, society forms us and we don't have alcohol, we're probably doing better off. And it's a very simple way to look at it. But, like, there might be something to it.
Hops and alcohol.
Yep.
Hops and alcohol.
Hops and Alox. There's something there.
There's something there.
Yeah.
For someone smarter than us.
Yeah, we'll get there. Well, someone else will get there.
Yeah.
We won't. We've been drinking.
What?
So we won't have the mental capacity to do so because we're escaping into this podcast. Tie it all together. No. I don't know. Any other effects? Anything else glaring you think that would happen if humans, if we were unable to create alcohol on planet Earth?
I don't know what Jesus would have turned the water into.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wine wouldn't have been a big deal. It wouldn't have been used for sacrifices or
probably would have just been sour juice.
Maybe. Yeah. The grapes still go sour, but they just, they don't produce alcohol.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah. I don't know. But, it's been such an important part.
Shit, why are we keeping bees around?
For the honey. What do you mean? For the pollination. For the Polynesians. I don't know why. It made sense in my head. Yeah. The Polynesian pollination.
Yeah.
That phrasing sounded kind of good to me.
Polynesian.
Yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
no.
It sounded like a fun phrase.
You make alcohol out of a coconut?
Yeah. It's got sugar in it, doesn't it?
Immediate yes.
If it has sugar in it, you can make alcohol out of it.
I bet Christopher Columbus was drunk.
It doesn't make him any better.
Well, I meant for the initial idea to go around the world, not for the other atrocity.
Oh, not for the genocide?
No.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't quite what I meant.
Gotcha. Yeah, he was drunk for the genocide, so we can forgive him, right, Rob? No, is that what you were saying?
No, I meant the whole.
Should we not hold people accountable if they've had alcohol in them?
I'm gonna sail around the world. He was probably just drunk and trying to kill himself. He's like, I'm gonna get 3 ships. I'm gonna sail into the abyss. I am either gonna find something or get sweet release.
Damn, it's dark.
And he didn't find it, so he killed a whole bunch of people.
Hurt people hurt people. He was probably...
He made a really weird...
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make me forgive him. At all. Or it doesn't make his actions justifiable. Genocide is genocide, no matter how small. I think Horton said that once.
Yeah, the drunken who.
Yeah.
The drunken who hearer.
Yes, the drunken who hearer. A person's a person.
No matter how drunk.
I was going to say something else. I refrained. I took it back. I decided it was not worth it. Anyways. Yeah. A world without alcohol. We can't even imagine it. It's pretty sad, actually. It probably says something about us. But,
you know what? Not necessarily. Because I wasn't even thinking on that local of a level.
Me either, really.
I mean, we kind of mentioned the podcast.
That's about it.
But, like, otherwise.
I would be much less... one of my major talents. I would have one less of one of my major talents.
The ability to turn seemingly fine beverages into cough syrup?
That one. I was also going to say the ability to imbibe atrocious amounts of alcohol.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, the 140 and then 119 shots of beer in as many minutes. One, Yeah. Yeah, that one. Man, I hope my livers aren't dead.
Livers.
Yep. Listen, that's why I've been surviving. I got more than one, Rob. How do you think I'm so good at this? I was born a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. My chances of drinking drastic go up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's weird because of how potentially detrimental alcohol is to the human body.
Yeah.
And how incredibly culturally significant it is.
Yeah, we'd probably be healthier.
As a whole.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Because even like the common substitutes of tobacco and I don't know if alcohol is any better than tobacco.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. There's less proof that it causes cancer, I suppose, or less acknowledged proof that it causes cancer, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean,
it causes your organs to fail. It doesn't necessarily let you live long enough to get cancer, but if you drink enough, your organs will start failing.
Yeah, you'll just get cirrhosis before you get cancer.
Whereas,
you'll be fine.
Marijuana doesn't. Well, we haven't quite experimented with it quite long enough. It doesn't, but
the longest studies, like the most reputable studies, is that it can potentially affect your memory. Like that is the most reputable thing out there, is that it can potentially affect your memory.
You know what though? Humans not inventing alcohol at all would be detrimental to society.
Oh.
Not so much in the kind that we drink.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
But we use alcohol in a whole bunch of chemistry.
Cleaning supplies, gasoline, the ability, going back to cleaning supplies, like all modern medicine.
Yeah.
Keeping things sterile.
Yeah. Yeah, so to that extent, I mean, I think you'd almost have to phrase this scenario where instead of alcohol not existing, it's alcohol doesn't affect humans in the same way.
That's too late. I already phrased
it. Okay, well, in the way phrased, yeah, I think that would have a very different impact on society then, because...
our population would be lower. For a couple reasons.
Would the lack of drunken debauchery make up for the lack of human lives saved?
No, because drunken debauchery can also lead to children.
Ooh, that's true. It's true. You got me there.
So you don't have that portion. It's like, so if those cancel out,
Yeah.
right? And then,
And then you also just take away the benefits of non-consumed alcohol.
yeah.
Got me there.
I think we just have a smaller human population, which might be better for the Earth. We should just
Saving the planet.
save the planet by killing 1 billion people or more by removing alcohol and seeing what happens. That's my new strategy to save the Earth.
I don't know if I'd stick too much on that one.
Fair. I don't know if I'm gonna either.
I don't know if I disagree, but I just don't know if I stick to it too much, you know?
No, you didn't. You said you didn't know if you disagreed, so sounds like you're on my side.
It's only a third, fourth, about.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll drop down to total 3 billion people. Is that better? The Earth will be happier. Isn't that all we want? No, we want alcohol because we want us humans to be happy.
Yeah, that sounds better.
It's the only way we can survive, which sounds depressing, but
okay.
I think it's true.
Very, very, very briefly, I also just thought of how alcohol was determined to be a required business. What was it? Beginning of quarantine.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It was they were allowed to stay open.
Yeah,
Yes.
because of all of the withdrawals that would happen if it was to immediately be pulled.
Yeah. So it's that important to us. And it's a good thing it exists.
It saves lives by helping to not go away and force withdrawal.
Anyway. Hey, you did it. Thank you.
You did. Thank you. And have a bevy. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
We love you.
He does.